to those camps, which is not really happening now. And now, because the under-16s did a good thing, we have been presented with a chance whereby we have a couple of players in that NBA camp, in Kenya, okay? But when that is done, is there going to be consistency of now this group, okay, needs to be taken care of? Then we get another group that we can push into that, which ultimately has an effect in the future of basketball.
In the future,
in the long run. Yes.
Future tournaments.
Yeah. But if they come back and we be inconsistent as we have always been, because all of us at the end of the day are part of the federation, okay?
Good afternoon. It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Opal. The show is Slam Dunk Basketball, where we talk, discuss, analyze, and assess, and also give you the latest updates in the game of basketball, both locally and internationally. My name is Felix Opal, and I'm with my co-host, Emmanuel Ateng.
Yes,
Emma,
Felix.
good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yeah. For the basketball enthusiasts, lovers, and fans out there, there is some good news. The league is about to resume after a long while. Emma, finally, tentative dates. Tentative is the key word. Tentative is the key word. October 2nd for the National Basketball League. October 16th for
the lower divisions.
The lower division teams. How enthusiastic and prepared is Falcons Basketball Club?
Well, first of all, let me say I can't really have my hopes up because the way things keep changing with our federation.
The key word, like I said, is tentative.
Yeah, so
that is the communication that we have
with
at the moment.
Tentative date, you can't really get your hopes up because you might actually get so excited that the league is returning. Then we reach a certain point and realize that, you know what, nothing is going to happen. That date will reach. Then football always pushes the date for starting the league.
And then it always goes on to another date.
It always goes up to another date. So possibly it might go on to another date. But from Falcons Basketball Club, like I said, I think guys are still in that lockdown mood. We haven't yet started practice. I hope that we'll start practice this coming week and prepare, because we have one game against one or two games. JKL, we still have to play JKL.
Falcons Basketball Club is still left with 2 games. Please be exact to our viewers. We are live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on our website, houseoftalentug.com. Give us your views, your comments, your remarks, and we will read them, we will relay them, we will try to assess some of them. So as I was saying, Falcons Basketball Club is left with 2 games. Power Basketball Club, who are also in the same bracket as Falcons. I think Power has 5 losses. Falcons has 5 losses.
Yeah, but we have more wins.
So the situation amongst both teams is actually more so similar. Having a simple conversation with Power Basketball General Manager Philip Chomuhendo, he's very ready. He says, we have to finish what we started. That is his statement. We have to finish what we started.
But finishing, because their season really wasn't that good. And the problems they had at the beginning with the whole change of the team, then firing the coach at certain point, and then lockdown coming in, and now they find themselves in a place whereby they have one game and that game they have to win. Okay, and they're still not sure whether the relegation battle is still being fought in that boardroom. Where with
they are actually very confident because they believe that the situations are going to be changing since football does not have a stronghold or rules which are set in stone.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. Okay, they could think, okay, you know what, we're going to hold on. Then football wakes up one morning and says, okay, you know what, the last two guys on the table go play the tournament.
Are going down to the tournament. But speaking to various managers and who we will not mention because of their request for anonymity, there is the request of each team paying 600,000 shillings.
Yeah.
Now that 600,000 shillings is meant to assist the federation in the COVID tests, which are supposed to be done. Remember, prior to all of this, to our viewers out there, the league was halted by National Council of Sports. Prior to, besides all other disciplines. Now that was, according to National Council of Sports, the Federation of Uganda Basketball Association failing to adhere to the regulations and rules which were signed on and set and agreed upon by the two parties. Now those rules were no fans, selected media at the games, teams to have prior testing every 2 weeks before the games, and then those results be submitted. However, none of those regulations or rules were actually met. Now, the 600,000 is also creating an issue, mostly with the lower divisions.
I mean, you have to look at it this way. Some teams already paid their money at the beginning of the season to run throughout the whole season. Okay? So you can't come back as FUBA and say, listen, after you guys have paid your money, now we're going to add on how much? 600,000. Okay?
For you to actually continue in the league, because it has been set as a stipulate.
If you don't pay the 600,
for a team to actually continue.
So imagine I have one game left. Okay? And that one game is not even going to take me to the playoffs. Okay? Do I still pay 600k to play that one game that is not taking me to the playoffs? It's a rip-off at the end of the day. And that money is not only for testing, because according to that letter, part of that money is for running the league, and the team still has to bear.
Actually, when you read the letter and you flip through and look into the insides, that money is actually meant to facilitate the running.
To facilitate the running. Now, each team also has to test their players. That is minus the 600,000. So the 600,000, let's say you have 12 players plus your staff. Each test is running at 100k. Isn't that almost 1.5 mil? Plus 600, that is 2.1 million to play one game.
To play one game.
Just one game.
If you put it in an administrative and managerial sense, you'd actually forfeit the game.
You just forfeit the game. But now you see the forfeiture of the game also has an impact on what is going to happen to the other teams. So imagine I give a walkover to a certain team because I can't participate. Okay, that will affect the position of other teams on that same table. You see that?
Because when you give when a team forfeits, even the game that it played against the team, the other team is also forfeited.
You see that? So that is going to bring a lot of suckers. Some people who are supposed to qualify will not qualify. Someone who was not supposed to qualify will qualify. So it's a lot of suckers, and not only down. You know, with the lower division teams, there are very many. Come up to the NBL. Okay, 12 teams. All right, 10 now. That
we're talking 10 teams which have been taking
part. Okay, certain teams have one game to go. All right,
other teams have two.
Other teams, Other teams, let's say like JKL, we're not sure whether they even have a team right now. Okay,
basically, when you look at the National Basketball League, the top tier, what they have is one weekend. Saturday, Sunday,
and that's it.
And the regular season is closed.
It's done. Okay. Look at teams like KIU. KIU had a lot of international players whom they couldn't really keep here, so they let them go back home. Then two of their players, Obleng and someone else, went to play in Burundi for Urunani. So also, does KIU still have a team? Okay.
Because when you look at when you consider that, and also you consider the fact that Ariel Okal is suspect of not actually returning,
Yeah.
because according to his social media posts and on his page,
Yeah.
Facebook and on his handle, he seems like he is joining another team,
Yeah.
although it is not yet official.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
Okal is a businessman. He knows where to get the money from. He has played in Kuwait, he has played in Saudi Arabia, he has played everywhere. Basically for him, where he sees an opportunity is where he will go. So we're not only talking Okal, you know, we're talking other international players who on that team that the team really couldn't keep around. Faizo and others. Then we moved to JKL that didn't really have a team right now. We're not sure about their contracts.
It's not about JKL not having a team. It's about JKL actually having an administrative structure.
Yes.
We're not sure.
Is it even there?
Who now the president is, who the vice president
Exactly.
is, who the director of operations
Yeah.
is, and then they had set up this structure whereby we have a president, a CEO, a general manager.
Yeah.
We have a senior team. We have a ladies team.
Yeah.
And
Have
then
a
we
team
have
captain somewhere there.
yes. Then we have a junior team.
Yeah.
But now all that was shaken up.
Exactly. So for someone to pay let's put it at 2.1 million plus the test.
No, let's first go with the 600,000 that is required.
Okay, let's go with the 600,000.
600,000 that is required,
Yeah.
according to FUBA General Secretary.
Yeah. So looking at it from a player's point of view, it would be good for us to get back to playing basketball because we don't want to sit for that long. There's a lot of time that we're invested in, a lot of training. But coming to the financial perspective, it is a rip-off. Okay? No one should be expected to pay an extra for what they already paid. Where did the money go that people had paid to run the league?
Well, the federation was helping and running the national basketball team, the Silverbacks, the under-16s, the junior Gazelles and junior Silverbacks.
Yeah.
That is what the PR will tell you. But what exactly, when you go down to reality, to the actual truth,
Yeah.
you wonder where the money that the teams actually brought on table is doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad for the Silverbacks, okay? But FUBA should separate national team duty from the league. If money is given for the league, it's like in your house. If there is money for salt and for sugar, okay? You can't say I took all the money for salt and sugar and I bought what?
I bought vegetables.
I bought vegetables or something.
Yeah.
Either for salt or for sugar. So there should be money for the league and money for all these different.
They have to prioritize.
Yes, we shouldn't reach a point where again the national team is saying, oh, there is no money, ABCD. The money should be there for the national team, okay? The money should be there for the national league. People shouldn't be expected to pay anything extra. But I also still understand where FUBA is coming from, okay?
How? Enlighten me, because like I said, most of the managers that have been, that I've spoken with are not willing to pay a single penny.
Yeah.
They say, if we don't play, we do not play.
Yeah.
But we're not giving FUBA
Anything.
600,000 shillings.
Yeah, from their side, yeah, I see that you have to run the league because you already budgeted for it under NCS, okay? And I believe that NCS must have given some money for the league. So you have to run the league, okay? They do not have a choice.
No, after the presidential announcement and address that sport can continue and mostly only outdoor sport can go on.
Yeah.
Other disciplines went on.
Yeah.
You have seen football going on. You've seen games being played.
Rugby continued.
Yeah. Football. St. Mary's Stadium Chitende right now is our, we would call it our national stadium. At the moment, games have been going on. Our national team played the Uganda Cranes. Express played El Marik yesterday. So everyone is asking, why is basketball not going on? And the other big question, when the letter was put out, it said that the last paragraph mentioned the fixtures and the venues. The venues will be announced when the fixtures are out. Now, most people, including myself, are wondering, why does the federation have to change fixtures at this moment? The fixture was already put out. I know I'm playing this team. The dates have changed. Now, why do you need to reshuffle it again?
Well, that is a question for the technical team of FUBA. I don't think I can answer that one, but still, it's not something that should happen. But also, when plans change, you need to have a structure to accommodate the change. Because
I believe it's just a matter of changing the dates.
Yes.
But not changing the fixtures.
Yeah, and also I don't know about the venue. I don't know if we're still going to KIU. Are we going to UCU?
Well, in the letter that which was signed on by the former president, it stated that the venues will be announced when the new fixtures are out.
But I mean, if we're going to, we only have 2 possible venues.
Because when
is out.
When you look around, YMCA is actually very still in. It's just that they're just trying to put a curtain over it. But when you look at the other venues and YMCA, when you look at the court of KIU and you compare it to the court of YMCA, I don't see a big difference.
Yeah, but the flow at the YMCA is not really that good if you've been there of late. It's something that needs to change. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, the only possible venues we have are KIU and UCU for the NBL. The others being Makerere Pool Court, Makerere Main Ground, Nakasero for the lower division teams. So I think we already know where we're going. I don't know why they just don't tell us, you know what, we have decided that we're only using UCU or only KIU. You know, that would make it easier for us, and we just keep on running with the same fixture that we had the last time.
It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Opal. We're discussing the league resumption and everything that is surrounding it, the uncertainties and the certainties. We will return after this short break.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
A lot has been happening in the game of basketball. First of all, Slam Dunk Basketball would like to first thank the Silverbacks for doing the nation proud and for making it to the first time in the quarterfinals of the Afro Basketball Championship down in Kigali. It was a tough task, and history was made when the Silverbacks, our boys, were able to beat on Nigeria. Welcome back. It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Opal and I am with my co-host Emmanuel Ateng. We are discussing the resumption of the league and the uncertainties that are surrounding it. We discussed the issue about the venue.
So like I was saying, there are only 2 possibilities. We have KIU and UCU. All right, but you see the issue with UCU also, I'm already paying 600.
There's also Nakao, Makerere University Business School. Yes.
I don't know if they've got permission for that.
Yes, they have a basketball court, and the lower division has used that.
Used that, yeah.
Yeah, for some
For
of
some of their games. Yeah, like so I was saying that for the 600k, I've already paid 600. I'm testing my players. Then I have to put in more transport to go where? To UCU. Yeah. Here we're assuming a baseline of we all have one game left because it's only one weekend.
It's one weekend. It's one weekend to the closure.
Yes, to the closure. So I'm paying already 2.1 million. Then I'm adding transportation. Then I have to pay the players, you know, facilitation.
Of course, you have to transport them. You have to get refreshments.
Yeah.
You have to
pay them their allowances.
You have to give them transport
allowances.
Allowances.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then plus the other fees that come in.
Yeah.
You have to pay the medical personnel. You have to ensure that your first aid kit has the equipment
everything
that
in it.
is required in case a player gets injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all those things. Imagine how much money is going to go into. And let's just say you don't qualify for the playoffs. You've used
because
more money.
The key thing is qualifying.
Yes.
For the ladies, it is a different story because remember there's no regulation.
Yeah.
And
all
the 8 teams and all of them are qualifying. So for them, it is a placement issue.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
So for them, it's a mathematics of
who do I play?
Who do I play in the quarters?
Yeah.
Who can I actually eliminate in the quarters to get to the semis?
Yeah.
So their caption is
For them, it's a bit okay.
Yeah, it's put aside.
But for the guys, it's a bit hard. Yeah, because imagine you don't qualify for the playoffs. Let's use Power Basketball as an example. I'm not saying they won't qualify, but in case they don't qualify, remember they had already got how much? 200 million.
They got 200 million
at the
officially unveiled to the public.
So they got their 200 million in quotes. Okay, their season didn't go that well. All right. And now they have to pay extra. They might not qualify for the playoffs. Then they might have to play in the playoff tournament. So there's a lot of that uncertainty that is surrounding them.
Their general manager is actually, like I said, when we had a discussion, saying we have to finish what we started.
Yeah.
And they're willing as Power Basketball
to play
and pay. Most importantly is pay.
Yeah.
Because there are teams which are like, no, this money
is too much.
We shouldn't be paying it.
Yeah.
What is it for? Can we test our own players? I'll give you an example of Namungo Blazers.
Yeah.
Saying we can test our players and submit
the
results.
Yeah.
Even if you want them 24 hours before the game or 48 hours before the game.
Yeah.
Besides paying the 600,000.
Yeah.
Now football is caught in a catch-22 situation. So a team is telling you, I am going to test at a verified hospital.
Yeah.
List for me the hospitals according to the FUBA medical person, which FUBA is allowing where we can test players.
Yeah.
We go, we will do our own testing.
Yeah. Give you the
results.
results.
Hospital will actually give you the results, not us as a team, but we're not giving you the 600,000 shillings.
Yeah, I mean, take an example. So Tropical Royals, sponsored by Abbey Clinic, who also test. Okay.
Yes.
So would you ask Tropical Royals to pay that same money? Yet they can actually test.
Yeah, they will tell you Abbey Clinic is going to actually
take care of the testing.
Test the testing and give you the results.
Yeah.
As a team, you don't ask for the results.
Yeah.
You ask the results from the medical people.
Yeah.
To ensure that there is no tampering of the results.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that people actually sat in a meeting, all the managers, and they allowed, I don't know which managers allowed that we have to pay 600,000.
We do not know exactly who was in that meeting or which people were actually in the resolving of coming down to that resolution of the 600,000. But it is creating actually a big mountain. It started as a small
issue.
Yes, but now it's creating an issue. Most importantly, because of the fact that there's a condition. You do not play unless you have cleared that 600,000.
Yeah, I mean, if people sat in a meeting, if you and I, Felix, sat in a meeting and decided that, you know what, we have allowed to pay 600K, then tomorrow morning, you, Felix, are like, no, we're not going to pay the 600. So I'm thinking in my mind, okay, people actually sat in a meeting to make this decision.
Yes.
Okay. So after they left that room, did someone decide? Maybe they said, okay, we have to pay 200K. When they left, maybe someone said, okay, you know what? Let's add it to 600. 600K.
But the letter was signed and everything, so it had the uncertainty around our basketball is being too much.
Yeah.
Just like going to the Silverbacks, there's still that issue of the payment and the Kigali issue with the hotel, and the federation is doing quite a good job in being inconsistent. They're being very consistent in their inconsistency. I think that is the best way I can put it. Like I said when we were discussing in the previous show, Arnold Katabi, Vice President, Marketing and Publicity, should come out and clear the air. That has not happened to this date. So questions are still being asked. People are still wondering. Answers are still yet to come. And I would say this for a fact, at Slam Dunk Basketball, we have tried to ensure that we get these officials to the show to explain. However, that has been in vain.
No one wants to show up.
Everyone has actually been a bit busy or with a different program. So, which we at Slam Dunk Basketball cannot actually ascertain. We do not know what, but professionally, at least if there's no showing up, then issue out an official statement. Clear out the air.
Like you said, that uncertainty is for basketball. Let's now say the Silverbacks, you know, after actually making history, coming back, they came back, had a press conference, which I think many people also didn't know. And for a big team like that, when you get back after making history, you know, you should be everywhere on media. People should be interviewing you, getting your different experiences. The federation should really be excited, but it's like they came back and just went in, like Uganda and say Kamoli. They just entered Kamoli.
That would be the right term actually. They came in
and just entered Kamoli. So we haven't talked to any of the players. We haven't talked to any of the management. Okay, so we really don't know what's happening. Someone told me that we should get an investigative journalist to look into these matters.
An investigating team to know what exactly happened, because we tried getting the coach, we tried getting the head of the National Steering Committee, Haji Santo. Mandy Jurin also wasn't available. The captain isn't available. Jimmy Enabu. The other players are also local-based players who are around, are also not available. The manager of the team, Grace Quizer, isn't also available. So it also creates question marks.
And also, remember, FUBA started this FUBA TV thing when the league had started. Then with the qualifiers at the different games, they always post something on FUBA TV. You know, you'd expect that by now, okay, at least someone from the, you know, from the committee or the players would have actually been interviewed on FUBA TV. If they do not want to go to other, you know, media houses, okay, you can actually put it on FUBA TV. All we are looking for as the people is that the air be cleared, okay? What happened?
Yes, because
and what's going on.
People deserve to know. People support the team. People have passion, zeal for the Silverbacks, for basketball. People are actually willing to spend for basketball. People are willing to support for basketball. And that is not happening. And it doesn't create a big, a rosy picture moving forward. Because everything is about continuity, not just in sports, but even in business. Wonderfully and very gratefully, 4 players of our under-16 team were chosen for the Africa Youth Championship camp, which is happening in Nairobi. And that is something that we should be patting ourselves on the back to. Have 4 players chosen for that. Now, this is a continuity program that we need. But if that continuity is not actually followed up on, like the case is at the moment, then we're doomed.
Yeah, we are doomed. I think all these things go back to all the issues that we've been talking about. For example, now that camp with the kids, the under-16s who went, okay, there needs to be a certain form of consistency. People always ask the question, oh, why don't we have, players coming and joining the national team? Why is our under-16 team weak? Why is the under-18 team weak? Yet, before we had the junior NBA, we had the different basketball beyond borders and all this. So we had a couple of players going into those camps, which is not really happening now. And now, because the under-16s did a good thing, we have been presented with a chance whereby we have a couple of players in that NBA camp, in Kenya, okay? But when that is done, is there going to be consistency of now this group, okay, needs to be taken care of? Then we get another group that we can push into that, which ultimately has an effect in the future of basketball.
In the future
in the long run. Yes.
Future tournaments.
Yeah. But if they come back and we be inconsistent, as we have always been, because all of us at the end of the day are part of the federation, okay? We are inconsistent. They went for the camp and it was just, they just enjoyed basketball, learned about it, came back and nothing totally happens. It still puts us back in, we're just in a cycle, like how we have a cycle of poverty?
Yeah.
We're in a cycle of issues. So we're just going to keep going around.
Where you have a debt and you borrow money to pay the debt.
Exactly.
But you're actually digging a deeper hole for yourself.
Speaking of debts, I don't know if we took more debts in the Rwanda trip.
Those are the things that actually need to be cleared out.
Yeah.
Those are the things that need to be cleared out. Because like we were discussing, the fans, enthusiasts, and other stakeholders in the game of basketball are willing to fundraise for the team, have an account where they can actually place whatever they can for the national team.
For the national team, yeah.
That is the ladies, the Gazelles, the Silverbacks, the junior Gazelles, and the junior Silverbacks.
Yeah.
But with all these circumstances, someone who's willing to actually donate money will actually say,
when you have to start having trust issues.
Yes, if I have 5 million shillings and I want to
invest it here.
Not invest it, donate it for the love of the game and the growth of the game. How is it going to be utilized? So when you have those question marks, you're like, let me first hold on to it.
Yeah, hold on to it. And with that, time is going, then national tournament comes up and we still don't have anything in the bank. Okay, so I don't know, like our teacher used to say, we can talk until the cows come home, but
until action happens,
until we start doing something, okay? And it has to start now. We can't really wait to say, okay, let's start next year.
The FIBA World Cup qualifiers are just around the corner.
Just around the corner.
3-on-3.
Sometime this month.
Where we are the hosts.
Yeah.
But at the moment, we don't seem like we're even ready at all.
We don't know what's happening. Are we preparing?
We don't know if we're even ready at all.
Yeah.
The last time that it happened, they were hosted at the Lugogo hockey grounds. Yeah. And at the moment, no communication is coming in. No preparation is seen at the moment. Talk about digital influencing and marketing of a project. Nothing is happening.
True.
So for a tournament that big, which is international, those are some of the little things that should be happening. Now that we're in a digital era. For instance, something like that would attract sponsors. Someone would want to be a part of it. Even if it is just placing their banners and placards all over, that would be something great. But if they don't know about it, they also cannot come on.
That is very true. And I was thinking earlier before the show, way back I was talking to someone. He was saying that, way back, basketball was sponsored by Sprite, and Sprite had a very big influence on basketball. There was a time MTN was sponsoring, Airtel came in, but as we speak, I don't think we have a sponsor.
No, we do not.
The league does not have a sponsor, and we have consistently lost sponsors because of the same issues, and we are not attracting any more sponsors because of the same issues. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that this is the problem. Okay, let us find a way of solving
this is what we should be doing.
Yes.
It is Slam Dunk Basketball. Your views, your comments on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. will be read and will be reviewed. We return after this short break. Our boys were able to beat on Nigeria. And for making it to the first time in the quarterfinals of the Afro Basketball Championship down in Kigali. A lot has been happening in the game of basketball. First of all, as Slam Dunk Basketball would like to first thank the Silverbacks for doing the nation proud and for making it to the first time in the quarterfinals of the Afro Basketball Championship down in Kigali. It was a tough task, and history was made when the Silverbacks, our boys, were able to beat on Nigeria. Welcome back to the final segment of the show. It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Opal and I am with my co-host Emmanuel Eteng. We're discussing the Silverbacks and also the resumption of the league and the uncertainties, the questions that surround everything concerning the league resuming. When the league was halted, so many things weren't happening. The fans will I would say although there was a select team of journalists who had to get accreditation, which we actually got, myself and yourself inclusive, to attend the games. But the fans were actually let in to watch the games, which was not supposed to happen. Now we're looking at the venues where the games are going to be happening. The possible venues, and I'm wondering, with FUBA still having an issue of finances to actually even operate the league, how are they going to actually control the funds? Because to do that, you need reinforcement. You need some officers, you need to create like a barricade, so that the funds are out, and come the paradox. These are open venues.
I just think about the irony of the last time when certain teams were playing. Guys were not allowed to watch, but when certain teams came on court,
when KIU was playing, I'd be very blunt. When KIU was playing, first of all, the KIU games were happening
at KIU.
At KIU. Now, definitely the students and also the Kansanga community have to come and support
their team.
Yes, it is their team.
Same thing with the UCU game.
When it came to Mukono, it was the same thing. When UCU was playing, the students had to come and support. The people around had to come and support. The gate was open. The main gate and the side gate. So people were walking in. And remember, it's an open ground. It's not like you're going to charge someone money. Someone is coming to support, to watch, actually. Even if they don't know the game, but they just have passion for it. Say, that is our team. Let's go and support.
I think the only way they could have controlled it was if the games were at YMCA. There's a possibility, but remember also YMCA still has students who watch.
YMCA has students who also reside.
And they also have two teams that play in the league.
Yes, and they have teams which are in the league.
Which play in the league. So it's a very hard situation. To control fans, you need a venue like Lugogo, but they're not allowing us to play indoor. Okay, we have to play outdoor. Okay, so what do we do now? Okay,
because what I predict is the season actually ends the first weekend. Come playoffs, Federation is getting another letter from National Council of Sports to hold the playoffs for failure of following the SOPs.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
The fans are not actually social distancing. We don't have the sanitizer around.
Yeah.
Teams have actually only tested once, and now it's been a week, and they have not been tested again, and players have to again go on court.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing us running through the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, that now brings into the perspective of we live in a digital era.
Which is why I'm wondering, we really needed Necessary Njoji, the president of the federation, to be
Come on, clear.
Yes. Unfortunately, he declined because of a tight work schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
And
was
that
saying,
is why we need an official statement and like a blueprint
Yeah.
for the fans out there to know, yes, some of the people, the fans actually,
yeah,
were complaining.
yeah,
The links were getting on late. So you can watch the games on the FUBA Facebook page.
yeah.
But people were starting to watch the game in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, financial problems. I guess even the production crew at some point wasn't paid, so you can't really work when you're not paid. But like I was saying, this is a digital era, okay? Do you know how many TV stations are there in Kampala or Uganda at the moment?
Well,
Okay.
I don't have the actual count, but I believe there are over 20.
There are over 20.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, for a federation like FUBA, okay? Can't you get a deal with one of these TV stations and say, listen, okay? We shall put our games on your TV station. How do we make a deal that will benefit
That
both of us? Yes, you know, both parties. In that way, at least 50% of the people who would have come to watch the games are going to sit in their house and watch what?
And watch
And
the
watch
game.
basketball. I mean, why should I get transport to go all the way to UCU?
To Mukono.
Yes, yet I can sit in my house.
Yes, and
watch the game. Yeah,
the traffic.
yeah, all
back
that.
and back
Yeah.
and forth.
But you know, buying data is something else.
Yes,
we can't buy data all the time. Okay, so put it on TV station where people can watch, and then now at least you have 50% of the problem dealt with.
Yes.
The other 50%, you find a way.
And yeah, by doing that, you're also creating value for
to the sport.
product.
Yes.
Because what FUBA has constantly, always failed to do is to treat
value.
basketball as a commercial product.
Yes, we still think basketball is just a game.
A sport. Yet it is a commercial product.
Yeah.
And instead of following the blueprint of the NBA, where they treat the NBA is a commercial product.
Yeah.
It is not just. It is not a sport.
It's not a sport.
It's not a sport. It is a commercial product.
True.
Now, by doing that, you are creating more value
Yeah.
for your product.
Yeah.
Already you have the resources.
Yeah.
You have the players. You have a few venues. Now, that is what you sell to a sponsor when you
Yeah.
go to them. You don't have to have a 20-slide presentation and explain a SWOT analysis
and all these things, yeah.
strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. No.
Yeah.
What you are providing is actually seen.
Yeah. So that is something FUBA really needs to look into going forward, because with this whole situation of lockdown and the virus, we can't know that even next year, you know, everything is going to be fine.
We're not sure if
Yeah, we're not
the
sure.
league will be going on smoothly.
Yeah.
And yet we want to wrap up this
Yeah.
season so that next season starts on a clean slate.
Yeah, and I believe that even if they started allowing us to use the indoor courts without fans, you will still need to televise these games. And
Definitely, because
Yeah.
how will the fans watch?
that's the other thing.
You already have a brewery company which is sponsoring in a mini way
Yeah.
part of the league.
Yeah.
But their main issue is the playoffs.
Yeah.
They want to come on in the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
Huh?
Yes.
That is Tusker.
Tusker, yes.
Yes, they want to come in the playoffs.
playoffs,
Now they want to they want to see that momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm believing if I'm sitting in the chair of head of marketing
Yeah.
of Tusker, and this is what I'm seeing, and you're asking and having a proposal on my desk for 200 million for the playoffs,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, why do you need the 200 million?
What are you going to do with the 200? What value are you bringing back to?
What am I getting in return as a company?
Yeah.
Am I improving my sales? Am I improving my brand equity?
Yeah.
Am I improving my brand visibility?
Yeah. All those issues.
And then, along everything, how much negative publicity am I also getting?
Yeah.
Because when the negative publicity comes around the sport, around the playoffs, around the activities that are happening, it also
goes to the sponsor.
Reflects back to me.
Sponsor,
So I would also want to take a back step.
Yeah, and those are things. Then another thing that we need to look at, talking about commercialization of the sport, we have players in the league, okay? Some who do not have jobs and they depend solely on basketball, okay? If we take an example of not only the NBA, even other leagues, players there have endorsement deals, you know, they do advertising, you know, they do different things because of the game of basketball that actually gives them money.
Brand placement.
Yes, brand placement. The only time I've seen someone try to do that, Imanishiwe had, I think, some photo shoot with some perfume company, but that I think no one ever got to know about it, you know, because we really
it wasn't really
broadcast that much.
That much.
Yeah, but you see, even the players in FUBA are products that you can actually use to market.
They are products.
Yes, we are products. As the players, the coaches, you can use the players not only to market the sport itself, but also to help the different sponsors, okay, to help branding, to help all these different elements that go into commercialization. But let's take an example of Stephen Omoy, okay, one of the biggest names in Ugandan basketball. Did you ever see him do an advert for a shoe company, sports company,
or even
Uganda,
a beverage company?
Never. That is an opportunity that we actually lost. Okay, we would have used him as the Michael Jordan of Ugandan basketball. Okay, but that is something that we didn't do, and look at where we are now. Look at the situation that we find ourselves in as a federation.
Because so many of these things are known, but they're not happening. And one of the reasons, in my opinion, is because we don't have dedicated people on our ESCOM committee. And they themselves, as they've said, they're volunteers. But why come into a position when you're not willing to go all out? Because that is one of the issues. You come into a position, but you're not fully dedicated to it. Then, when the results are not actually happening, the stakeholders, who are ourselves, who are the fans, who are the enthusiasts, who are the people that actually invest money in basketball, are going to always point the finger at you.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and you know, like how we keep discussing about the CEO.
The CEO, I do not know which part, I don't know who they are bringing, because all of a sudden that is a topic that has gone silent in the federation.
And that's the person that we need right now to answer some of these questions.
No, he's the person that is actually going to carry this big cross. Because it is really a big cross.
It's a very big cross.
There's a lot of baggage. There's a lot of baggage.
Whoever that is, I wish them the best. They're going to find themselves, you know, like how they say, you jump from the frying pan to the fire. This one is jumping directly.
No, he's not jumping from the frying pan.
Into the fire.
He's jumping, not in the fire. He's jumping into the furnace. He's going to jump into the furnace.
Yeah, and I don't know, but you know, it's so saddening to see something like this happen. We have the best league, I believe, top 10 in Africa. We are there, okay? And we have very good players. We have talent. We attract a lot of talent from outside, you know. Just a few things here and there for us to fix. Okay, I'm not in that position. I'm not a PR. I'm not, you know, the president.
Not an administrator.
Not an administrator. I might not have skills to do all these things. But, you know, looking from outside, okay, I believe that these are some of the things that can be fixed to make our federation and the basketball in Uganda way better.
It has been Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. To the basketball fans out there, tentatively, and I repeat, tentatively, the league is meant to resume on October 2nd. That is the National Basketball League. The lower division is meant to resume on October 16th. We will catch you next time. It has been Slam Dunk Basketball Talk. My name is Felix Elpal, and I have been with Emmanuel Ateng, my co-host. Catch you next time.
Welcome to this edition of You and the Law. My name is Jonathan Ocho, your host. You and the Law is simply what it is, you and the law. In this show, we try to demystify the law for the ordinary person, make it simple for a teacher, for a lawyer, for a farmer, for a doctor, for a border rider, for a cleaner, everyone in our society. This program touches on every aspect of our lives that relate to the law. Is it marriage? Is it property? Is it land? Is it traffic? Anything that touches on the law will be discussed in this program. Today, we're going to have an interesting conversation that will focus on the institution of marriage. I know most of us have attended marriage functions. Some of us are married. Most of us viewers are married. But what does it mean to be married? How does the law look at marriage? So this conversation today will focus on demystifying the whole topic around marriage and how it is viewed from the eyes of the law. And to help us do this, I have a learned mind with me, and it's none other than my friend, my colleague, Emmanuel Elau. Emma, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Hello, viewers. Thank you for having me on the show.
In House of Talent, when you fist bump, you spread the love. So you do this, then you spread the love. Yeah, so Emma, how have you been?
Well, I've been great.
Yeah, we're coming in from 42 days of a lockdown. How has it been on your end?
It's been quite difficult. You know, you wake up in the morning, you sit around the compound, you look at the time. You know, you lose sense of the calendar because you fail to understand which is a Monday and which is a Sunday.
You're even lucky that you have a compound. Some people live in one-bedroom houses
and
have nothing to look except their, iron sheets.
Yeah, sure.
And really, you're our first guest really on this program. And why do you think it's sort of important for people to just know about the law? Because I know you've been teaching law and practicing law for all these years. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. You know, when it comes to the law, we basically live the law, you know, on a day-to-day basis, you know. Whether it is in your bedroom, there is a law that governs it. If you're married, for example, even if you're single, there could be something touching on the law because you might be in your bedroom with an underage girl or you might be with another person's wife. You know, all the things are the law, you know. When you jump on a border, there is law. When you're driving, we're talking about traffic. You know, if you go to a restaurant, you must ensure that you have the money because you're consuming someone's energy and investment. You know, so you must be able to pay for that. So we interact with the law at all times.
It's part of our everyday life.
Yes.
Man, you don't want to be in trouble after many years of working hard only to realize that you have no rights at all simply because you didn't celebrate any of the marriages that are recognized within the laws of Uganda. With that, we come to the end of this edition of You and the Law. It's a bye from us. See you next time.
Welcome to this edition of the Coffee Break. This is House of Talent and my name is Atengi Emmanuel. Remember, this is the show that we get to talk all about coffee, what's happening in the coffee business, different elements about coffee. And back in the studio today is someone we all love, someone we've taken a long time without seeing. I love saying it, the Coffee Messiah is back. It's like the second coming of Jesus. So the Coffee Messiah has come back. Amon, welcome back to the show.
It's nice to be here again.
Yeah, it's good to see you. You've actually been gone for a while. I don't know, were you like out converting people, bringing people more into the coffee side?
Well, I've been trying to make ends meet and happy, healthy. So it's good to be here. Yeah.
It's good to have you. I hope your ends have met.
Yeah, they have. They have met.
Well, to complement the Coffee Messiah, we have someone else in the studio, the first female guest we ever had on this show. And at the beginning of the show, she told me that since we have a Coffee Messiah, we should have a coffee goddess. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Swabra Banks, to the show. Swabra, you're very welcome to the Coffee Break show. I know like a lot of people out there,
whenever you tell them your name is Swabra Banks, okay? The Banks part is not a Ugandan name, totally not, okay? So how did you end up with that name?
That's a name that was given to me by a sister of mine, actually, because she used to believe in me and she was like, you're going to get a lot of money. Yeah, so she gave me the name Banks. Yeah.
So have you reached that point where you have that a lot of money?
Yes, I thank God, yes.
All right, so probably after this we're going to the bank with Swabra Banks.
Probably.
Yeah, but that's interesting. Welcome to the show. We just want to start off with basically your profile. Who is Swabra Banks? Who is I'm a Barrister? You know, where did you grow up, and how did you end up into the coffee business?
Okay, so Swabra Banks is a barrister.
Yeah.
I grew up in Entebbe Road, Ndeje, and I went to Mutesa One-Way University. I was doing mass comm. And then how I ended up into coffee, it was through a friend of mine who is now like a brother to me. He pitched this coffee thing to me. Of course, I didn't have interest in coffee, and I had to go and enroll in the academy. And then as I was doing the coffee course, I fell in love with the coffee.
Oh, that's very interesting. So you talked about, you know, in Mutesa One, you actually did a course in mass communication.
Yes.
So growing up as a child, what did you want to be? You know, people always want to be a lawyer, some want to be a pilot. I had some kids say they wanted to be a taxi conductor because they hold a lot of money. So growing up, what did you think you would be in the future?
I wanted to be an actress, actually, because I loved movies ever since I was a young girl. And I think I loved the camera from day one. That's why I went to mass comm.
So are there any hopes of you getting into the movie industry in Uganda?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I'm now taken by the coffee industry.
Well, that's very interesting. Amon, to hear from you. I also know that, you know, growing up you wanted to be something. You know, what did you want to be when you were a kid growing up? I know there was nothing like a barista in your mind. I don't even think you knew about coffee at that time. So, from my perspective, I think you wanted to grow up and be a model, but you can correct me on that.
Why would you choose a model? Well, me from, I want to be a journalist.
Okay.
I think I realized that in my P6. We had a teacher who was doing journalism at the same time teaching us SST. So this guy was like a lifestyle guy. He used to be a very, very, very inspiring guy. So I liked him from the start. So I'm like, okay, I want to be a journalist. So that's how I picked a dream of becoming. And at least I'm trying to achieve that, you know, because right now, if I'm doing mass comm, at the same time, this we're doing coffees, so I'm still on the track. I'm not like Swabra who's already taken by coffee.
You know, the most amazing thing is that actually all the three of us here have done mass comm at a certain level. Okay, and
so we have one thing in common.
Yes, we have something in common at least. The other thing we have in common is that, you know, we all passionate about coffee, which is a very good thing. So, Swabra, you told us that a friend of yours, who's now like your brother, introduced you to the coffee industry. So, I know that when someone introduces you, there is always a pitch they give you. It's like if I want someone, let's say the Coffee Messiah always goes out to convert people and he has to give a pitch of why should I join the coffee business instead of actually starting a boutique, okay? Which one will make more sense? So what were some of those things that he told you about the coffee business that actually pulled you into it?
Actually, the most interesting part about it was he also didn't know anything about coffee. he wasn't a barista by then. He just told me, you have to do this course and then come to Dubai and make a lot of money because you know the coffee business there is money. So I also went into it to study to go and get money. But along the way, of course, I fell in love and I decided to stay in Uganda.
All right, so you talked about Dubai. Most of the people we've had on the show have had some experience with the Middle East. We had a guy who worked in Kuwait as a barista. So moving from Uganda to Dubai, did you go and work as a barista or you went and got involved, you know, into other businesses?
I went to Dubai way back. I think that was around, it was around 2014, but it wasn't coffee. Yeah, I knew Kofi after I came back to Uganda.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like, now that you're back for your vacation, you should do something different and then come back as someone new.
Okay.
Yes, that's when I went into the coffee industry.
Amon, I remember last time we were talking about you not wanting to go out of the country, you know, to become a barista. And I don't know if your mind has changed since then, yeah. But like most of our baristas go to Dubai, they go to UAE, yeah. I really haven't heard of any barista who has gone maybe to America, maybe to Europe. Is it easier as a barista to go from Uganda to the UAE than it is to go maybe to Europe or to America?
Well, guys do go in the UK, in the US.
Yeah.
Guys do go, but only that these people go in the line of maybe doing hotels, not coffee shops.
Yeah.
Because it's because someone is easy to access that side, and whoever goes that side, now there's a lot of connection that side, so people get to know that okay, Emma went to UAE. But when someone goes maybe to UK, it will be hard for someone to know, because maybe like it's a family or a family friend who gets to know that, you know what, Emma went to UK.
Yeah.
But people do go that side,
Okay.
and they make a lot of money.
That's very interesting. Still talk about Dubai. I know there are very many differences basically between Dubai and Uganda. Okay,
Yes.
and going there, I believe there was that cultural change. So, how were you able to deal with the culture change? Because I know that Uganda is more of a freestyle kind of place, and Dubai is really a strict place, especially when it comes to ladies. So, how were you able to manage the culture change from Uganda then to Dubai?
It was really tough. It was tough for the first months. I think the first 2 months, and then of course the fact that I went to Dubai as like looking for a job and all that. There are also other people who come to Dubai that are not from that country. Yeah. So that kind of gave me a sense that I'm not alone in this. So of course you have to make friends. You have to learn the language, because learning the language is the most important thing to do. Yeah. So I caught up with the situation.
Okay, so did you learn the language?
Yes, of course.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I
So
like the language.
if I went to Dubai and wanted to order a cup of coffee, okay, how would I say that in Arabic?
I don't remember.
So basically you learned a few things, like maybe
a few
greeting,
things. Yes.
you know?
I used
Because-
to know all of it actually, but it's been a while. I don't remember all of it.
Because in most cases, when you learn a language, what you get to know is how you greet, and everything's like to keep you running in case you get lost. It's like those guys who come to Uganda. What they need to know is Mwasuze Mutia, Olibulunji, something like that. But they can't go beyond that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like how you say that, Olibulunji.
Because that's how they say it. That's how they say it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I also believe that dealing with people, basically, when you're a barista, or at that time you're a waitress, okay, you have to deal with people, okay, and customers are really different. You'll find a customer who's really nice and sweet. Then there are those who are backing orders at you. You know, there are those that you can't deal with. So, did you ever find yourself in a situation whereby you were presented with a customer who was really harsh, okay, and how did you deal with that situation?
The first thing these people do is to train you, customer care, how to handle clients, because of course they also know how clients behave. So you start up with everything like the day when you know what's coming. Yes, because you're in a country that is not yours. So every time you could get maybe a harsh client, you could know how to handle. You just be polite and apologize, and then you get the order and then you move on.
Okay, interesting. To Amon, I know that in Uganda there are certain places that I've gone to and there's totally no customer care. You enter a restaurant, you order for something. First of all, I believe that when you go to a restaurant or to a coffee shop, okay, someone is supposed to come and attend to you, all right? But there are some places that in Uganda you go to a hotel, you go to a coffee shop, and you really have to call the waiter or call the waitress to get served, okay? Amon, how has been your experience in Uganda in relation to customer care, especially where you work? Are we up to the mark of good customer care, or we still need a lot of help in that part?
Well, to be honest, in Uganda we still have the poorest customer care. Because in most cases, these guys who are in customer care or customer service, most of them are either in school and they're just doing the job for the sake of doing the job, but they are professional customer care attendants. These guys have studied this. They have gone to like a room and studied this. They have gotten training, so they know how to handle a person. But in Uganda, it's really, really hard to find a very, very good customer care. For a case of where I have been in a few places, I haven't had that bad experience with customer care because I've went to a coffee shop and I've received instant care, instant customer service, and it's been a nice experience. So I haven't received that bad service.
All right. According to me, I think that just like you said, we really haven't reached the mark. We still need a lot of help when it comes to the customer care industry. And I believe that most of the time, you know, you just get a job and there's really not much training put into it. You just start working and you don't know how to deal with people. I believe that the most important part when it comes to such a service industry is not even the coffee you're brewing or it's not the food that you're giving. It's basically how you treat the customers. Okay, that's what keeps them coming back. Okay. So Abra, before we go for a break, basically how we got to you was that you were blowing up on social media. Okay. A little bird told us that there's a certain barista that is now blowing up on social media. Okay, and it really caught our attention. We're like, oh, okay. You know, baristas are actually getting out there. You know, the coffee business is starting to grow. So before we go for a break, I just want you to tell the viewers out there, okay, who are you on social media? What is your name on social media? Are you Swabra Banks? Are you someone else on social media? Because sometimes people have aliases, you know. I'm one on Facebook, I'm one person, then on Instagram I'm another person. So before we go into a break, just tell the people who you are on social media.
On social media, I am a barista. Okay. Yes.
That's both on all your social media
all my
platforms?
social media platforms, yes.
Okay. Yeah, please.
That is Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Okay. We're going to get into a break right now. In the studio, we have Amon Mukisa, the Coffee Messiah, and we also have Swabra Banks, the Coffee Goddess, and me, the Coffee Human, Ateng Emmanuel. We'll take a break right now, and when we get back, we're going to talk more about how you can brand yourself in the coffee business. Stay right there. This is House of Talent Television. Welcome back to House of Talent. This is the Coffee Break Show where we get to talk everything about coffee. And in the studio with me, I have Amon, the Coffee Messiah, and Swabra Banks, the Coffee Goddess. And basically, we've been talking about her life. Where did she start from and how did she end up in the coffee business? We also had Amon telling us about his experience and what he wanted to be, you know, when he grew up. He said he wanted to be, you know, a journalist, okay, which I believe that you're studying, okay. You got me wrong. I thought you wanted to be a model, but here we are.
Why did you think I wanted to be a model?
Maybe you look like one.
Yes. I mean, when someone looks at him, you know, you can see the well-kept beard, the well-kept hair, the nice shirt. I think it's something that you really need to look into.
Maybe I should.
Yes, you should. Okay. At least we'll say we know someone famous. Yeah, but like I said before, we went into a break. We're just getting into basically branding in the coffee business. Okay. Before I saw your profile on Instagram, I really hadn't seen any other barista who would put themselves out there. You know, it's like being a barista is only what you do when you're at your coffee shop or when you're at your place of employment. Okay, it's not like how you have all these social media influencers, you know, always putting out their videos, you know, tweeting on Instagram. I really haven't had anything from a barista. Okay, and it's good to have someone with experience. Okay, we just want to know, how do I start? If I was a layman, I've gone to, you know, barista school, I'm a barista. Where would I start when it comes to branding myself as a barista?
I think the first thing you have to do is get the passion.
Okay.
Yes, because you can do everything, but as long as you don't have the passion for it, you're not going to make people love it. Okay. So at the end of the day, you have to fall in love with it first, and then do some research. Don't be in the comfort zone. You have to do some research, know more about the industry, be down to earth. You don't have to show off and all that. And have content. You should have content. Always have content. People love to see what is unique about the industry. What is she doing other people are not doing. how come she's doing this and other people are not doing it? Let me follow her. Let me try to do as she's also doing. So at the end of the day, you make people love what you're doing.
All right.
If you also love what you're doing.
Yeah, so basically the first thing you're saying is have a plan.
Yes.
Okay? Sit down with yourself and say, you know what, this is what I want to achieve.
Yes.
Okay, these are the steps to it. All right, so I have a plan. This is what I want to do. Okay, but I'm not yet out there in social media.
Yeah.
One of the first things when you're basically picking a name, when you're picking social media platforms or what you're going to be on social media is picking a name.
Yes.
Okay? The name, I believe, has to stand out.
Yes.
And the name has to be catchable, something that will stay.
Yes.
All right, so you use I am a barrister. Okay, how did you come up with this name? I believe that there were countless other names you'd have just used for Barbara Banks.
Yeah.
I believe that in itself is a very good name.
Yes.
So how did you end up with I am a barrister?
I'm one person who is very proud about being a barrister.
Okay.
So the name just came up because I'm proud of being a barrister. And, you know, people used to call me Banks, Banks, Banks. And I wanted to stop that, to stop people to call me Banks. And maybe start calling me barrister.
Okay.
So I wanted to send a message out there that I am a barrister.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not a barrister.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Amon. Amon, when it comes to branding, okay, what would be the first step in your regard, in your perspective?
Well, when it comes to branding, I think it's the cause and the value you stand for, because branding involves personalization or personality. Then it involves this other side we're putting out. Okay. Because I try to ask myself, why are we not having barristers taken as ambassadors of certain things? For example, we're having different artists come out and they're ambassadors of tourism, and yet coffee is a very, very key major factor in maybe tourism.
Yeah.
Why don't we have these barristers come out and they're like, you know what, Swabra Banks is the ambassador of tourism in terms of coffee, you know, she's going to influence coffee growing in a park or in Gulu. So why don't we have that? I think, like as Swabra is saying, you need to know why you're doing something, and you need to come out of the cage and start doing that. Because if we have various barristers have traits of branding themselves, for example, if I am a barrister and I know, okay, I want to go beyond being the station, you know, I want to be out there, I want to show that I'm a proud barrister and I can do whatever it takes to be that good person who can be approached and they give me business and I want to influence for a certain cause, you know?
Yeah.
So that would be a good thing. So like Swabra is saying, I just want to know how she came out with the name I am a barrister, because it's really working. Because yes,
thank you.
Someone asks you, who are you? I am a barrister. So how did you come out with that?
As I've said before, I'm proud to be a barrister, and I am a barrister. It's not special. It's just that I wanted to send a message to people that I'm a barrister now, and I'm proud to be one. That's how I came up with the name, just like that. I am a barrister.
Have you been approached by different companies to like do business with you because of I am a barrister?
Yes, because everyone is like, what does barrister mean? And then they have to look it up, and then they're like, oh, it means someone who does this and this and this. Because a barrister is something huge. A barrister doesn't just make coffee. No, we make a lot of things. You know that we make juice, we make ice things, and all that. Yeah, so being a barrister is something that really makes people want to know who a barrister is, not just Swabra Banks, because someone will be like, oh, Swabra Banks and I see coffee, or maybe she's in the coffee business.
Now, Emma, you see, like, she's speaking about being a barrister. Most of us didn't know that a barrister does coffee, does juices, does cocktails, various beverages. Yeah. So at least if we brand ourselves as baristas, we get to put our image out there, and we'll get some business coming through.
Yeah, I remember someone telling me that the first time he heard the word barrister, he thought it was
a lawyer.
A lawyer.
yeah, because you know, let me tell you something. I was having a conversation with now his spokesperson of NUP, Joe Senyon. Yeah. So the first time I met him, he asked me, "What do you do?" Because it was after my senior six. I'm like, I'm a barrister. Wait, I'm studying to be a barrister. For you already a barrister.
Yeah, so most times people actually, get it confused. We still haven't reached that place in Uganda where we know what a barrister is. We can't really put the line between a barrister of law and a barrister as someone who does coffee. So I have my plan, picked out my super cool name. All right, I'm ready to go on social media. Okay. What is that brand identity? Every time I look at Swabra Banks' account, every time I look at Amon's account, what are some of those messages that you want me to get without you ever talking to me? There are some social media handles of different people that you see, okay, and you just get certain keywords immediately, like this one is friendly, this one is really nice. What are some of those words that come to someone when they log onto your Instagram page?
In most cases, when I'm posting something on my Instagram, I make sure I'm sending out a message. It doesn't have to be coffee specifically. It can be something else.
Yeah.
So I always want to show people that a barista is not just making the latte art and all that.
Yeah.
It comes from right from the garden to the cup.
Yeah.
So in most cases, when I'm posting something on social media, I make sure I communicate through my posts or my pictures or my anything that a barista does this and this and this. It's not just coffee. It's a lot of things. So when someone looks onto my page, it's like, oh, even a barista does this. Oh, even a barista does this. Yes, that's what I look at when I'm posting anything.
So I actually love that perspective, showing people that you don't have to be boxed up in only one thing.
Yes.
I'm a barista, but I can actually do other cool things.
Yeah.
So Amon, I remember I think it was last week when I met you at Enduro. I saw you basically interacting with one of your customers. Okay, and it was a good thing to see, because that interpersonal relationship you have between a barista and a customer is a very important thing. Okay, so what are some of those qualities that your customers have told you that you have? Some of the things that they have complimented you about that actually identify you as Amon Bukisa, the barista.
Me as a person?
Yes.
Well, I think most of them have complimented about the communication skills, because it all goes down to the communication skills. Those simple communication skills. Most people tend to think it's just a thing, but it's a very, very, very crucial thing. Because just imagine someone is talking to you, but you're not paying attention to them. For example, I'm speaking to Swabra, but I'm looking at you. That's already a turn off.
Yeah.
Someone needs attention. Needs to be shown that, okay, I'm talking to you, I'm attending to you. So if you're attending to a client or having a conversation, because sometimes you can't be busy on a station. She's a trainer right here.
Yeah.
I don't know why she trains her students, for example, to handle a busy station. But just imagine now I have a busy station and a certain Edwin comes on station and is like, okay, he wants to have that conversation.
Yeah.
How are you going to handle that, Edwin? To show him that, you know what, Edwin, I'm busy, but let's talk after having this whole mess worked out, So that's what keeps you going, or keeps a brand of a barista compared to someone who's going to just come, okay, I'm busy. And just comes out and say, oh, why Edwin? Don't want to be busy in Vaco, something like that. So it's a way how you interact or how you communicate with this person that keeps you in that same state they see it. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's not just about, like I used to think before, I knew about the whole barista thing. I used to think being a barista is basically just pouring coffee for someone.
It's called, the word is a barista, which means it comes from the bar, then barista, so which means it's a bar. Someone can access that bar, so if someone accesses that bar, you don't have a right to chase them away. That's because it's a bar.
So you have to go basically above and beyond what you do. It's not just about giving them the coffee. You have to create some sort of relationship.
It actually means a bartender who is a star. That's what it means.
Maybe Emma, I just want to know from Swabra, what are you using as your brand to add value on the coffee industry? Is it just Swabra, oh, I am a barista, just for the sake of social media? But how are you using I am Swabra as a brand to add value on the coffee industry, and how are you doing that?
First of all, I'm doing that through my trainings. I make sure I give the real content, the genuine content, and then quality. A lot of people are in the business, but they don't, give quality out there. They prefer getting a lot of money without even putting in. So to me, it goes back to quality. You have to make sure you give people quality, both the knowledge part of it and the coffee part of it. Yeah, quality.
Okay. Before we get into another break, okay, I know that, okay, now we have the plan, we have the name. Basically, now I want people to know that, let's say I'm Emmanuel, I'm a coffee human, because I have a goddess and a messiah here.
No, now you're a coffee genius.
So these are the different words. I want people to know I'm friendly. I want people to know that I'm not only a barista, there's basically other things that I do, okay? How do you go about creating your content? Because I believe that is the most important thing when it comes down to social media. You have to create content that is basically engaging and content that will keep people coming back. So before we go for a break, how do you as Swabra Banks, sit down and create your content that will capture the attention of other people?
Research. Through research, I do a lot of research actually. All the time I'm on my phone doing research. Research comes through in a lot of ways. First of all, you have to show people that we have competitions. Baristas have competitions. It's not just about other people. So there are a lot of interesting parts in our coffee industry that people don't know yet. People don't even know you have competitions here in Uganda.
I was actually about to say we should start one, but
we do. Yes, we do. I actually tried to compete. I think that was 2020, but the COVID thing came up and everything was stopped. So you have to do a lot of research and make people, first of all, love the industry. You have to know what people like. Not just putting things on social media and all that. No, you have to know what's trending, what should I post, how should I put it out there, and you have to follow a lot of baristas to know what's going on.
So you just don't come out there and throw something on social media without a plan.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to take a break right now, and we'll still be talking to Swabra. We also want to know how Amon comes up with his content, because I know he's not only a barista, there's a lot of other things you actually do. So I want to know how he comes up with his content, and we'll also be brewing coffee. Everyone who comes on the show has to brew for us a good cup of coffee. So we're basically rating up to now who has given us the best cup of coffee. We'll be doing that after the break. This is the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. Welcome back to the Coffee Break on House of Talent Television. My name is Ateng Emmanuel, and remember, you can catch us on our social media handles at House of Talent Television. That's on our Twitter and on our Facebook. The show will be airing there. You can also catch us on our website, which is houseoftalentug.com. Don't miss the show. If there's someone out there, if you know a barista, someone who's involved in the coffee business and they're not watching the show right now, give them a call and let them know we are on. Before we went into the break, we're basically talking to the Coffee Goddess and the Coffee Messiah about how they come up with content. And Swabra told us, she sits down and she has to do research on how to, get very good content and put it out there. Content that is basically engaging and content that will keep people glued to your social media. Amon, I know that you're not only a barista, you're also a YouTuber. Okay, so how do you go about getting content for your YouTube channel?
Well, one thing I have to say is, first, you just have to know what you want to put out there. Right. And you as a person, what are your values? Because you won't do something that doesn't follow under your values. Yeah. And what's the cause? I just doing content just for the case of doing content. That's why when you start doing such type of content, you end up losing it. But when you have the cause, you're like, okay, my cause is vegetation or growing trees. What am I going to do to make sure that we have a larger number of villagers? Okay, that might sound rude. A larger number of people in villages, grow more trees, you know? So you start planning that. So that's how you come up with your content.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So I've come up with content, I'm out there now, and I know that there are certain people, influencers, musicians, different people on social media who are not easily accessible. Okay, I believe that one of the things you have to be as an influencer is be accessible to people, because people want to interact with you. They want to ask you different types of questions, you know. And there's this whole thing of these days that, you know, sliding into someone's DM, which has become, you know, when you say, you know, I sent a DM to someone, you know, they demonize you. They look at you like, you know. So I just wanted to ask Swabra, how approachable are you on social media? Are you that kind of person? Let's say if I ask a question, you know, I send you a message, do you get back in time, or do you even get back at all, or it's just, you know, social media, what you see is what you get, and, you know, that's the end of it. So how do you go about, you know, talking to people on social media?
I do get back, though not that quickly. I do get back to people and of course interact with them. Some come with questions and you have to answer them, like make them fall in love with the industry, and they end up saying, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know actually you people are, you know, of recent, a friend of mine even told me, I didn't know baristas get certified. After I told him that, you know, we go to the academies and all that and we get certified. So the whole thing is I get back to them, and in the process of getting back to them, I make sure at least I educate them in one way or another how beautiful the industry is, and at least they don't end up going back as they came to my inbox.
Interesting. Amon, how do you take advantage of, you know, that kind of scenario whereby someone sends you a message and they want to get to know more about you and also about the coffee business? So how do you take advantage of that? Do you give them all the information, or do you tell them, you know what, you can find me at such and such a place and we can talk, or you actually take your time and say, you know what, let's talk through this, you know, let's get on a video call or something like that, and let me walk you through it. So how do you take advantage of that kind of interaction?
Well, it depends on how that someone has slided into my DMs. if this person has come with an agenda of, no, just brief information, and I'm at liberty to give out that information, because there might be someone coming in your DM and they want that secret information.
The whole course.
The whole course. Definitely you won't do that. But
course.
if it's just giveable information and it's brief, you can give it to them. But also when it needs like sitting down, talk about it, like in nits and gritties, then you have to set up an appointment and then do that. And by the way, that's how you get your brand out there. Because just imagine Emma came into my DM and you asking me something, but the way I respond to you, I show you that, okay, I'm available, but not so much available. Exactly. So if you want me, please make an appointment with me and we shall meet. Then this person will get to know that, okay, this is a high brand that I'm dealing with. I have to pay respect to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you just advertise yourself there. You bait them into
yes.
You bait them into coming. Yeah, that's very interesting. So the final question I want to ask on branding is this. Okay, I've become a big brand. I'm out there. People know about me. Okay, how do you keep up there? Because I believe it's easier to rise to the top, but keeping in that spot is a really hard thing to do. So to the both of you, how do I keep up there once I've gotten my brand to that level?
First of all, you have to be friendly, because people like friendly people. You have to be friendly and you have to be consistent. You don't have to give the same content all the time. You have to keep changing, beautifying, you know, the industry, you know, and all that. So you have to actually make people love coffee. That's what I actually do on my social media handles, and I end up getting students, you know, I want to be like you, you've inspired me. Actually people come to me and they're like, you know what inspired me into coffee is your love for coffee. I've got a lot of them. So you have to give really good content and to be consistent, and friendly actually. Yes.
To Amon, the same thing. How do you keep up there?
Well, I think it's just staying on course, because what you used to take you to that top level, it's what you will use to stay on that top level. Because when you lose what you intended to do, then it means this audience will go away from you. They'll be like, okay, Emma no longer does what we subscribed him to do for us. Then why don't we go to someone who needs to do something we subscribe to? So you lose that content. Hence you're falling.
Okay, interesting. So basically, for those who are watching, if you're a barista, you're involved in the coffee business, even if you're a farmer, I believe that there's a way you can actually brand yourself as a coffee farmer and be I don't think I've heard of anyone. So for a coffee farmer out there, this is a secret tip. This is the right time to brand yourself on social media as a coffee farmer. You don't know how many deals you can actually come up with. Well, we've reached to that point of the show where we get to brew a cup of coffee. You know, we have had very many people here, and we're talking with Amon and saying we need to do a show where we just rate the cups of coffee that we have taken here, and that put a lot of pressure on Swabra, basically, because now she has to make a really good cup of coffee. All right, so Swabra, I know that people watching from home are seeing us with all these, you know, things, and they're wondering, okay, what do they have on the show today? Okay, so we just want to start from the basics. What do we have on our set here, and what kind of coffee are we going to make? So basically, you're just going to run us through it, and I'm going to try and do this with you.
Okay, that's
hopefully I won't make any mistakes.
That's a good thing, because in most cases we teach our people outside there who are viewing to brew this, but today it's hands-on with you also. As they're learning, you're also learning.
It's good that I'm the coffee human here, so I can make a mistake. You guys can't make a mistake. So Swabra, over to you. Just take us through, you know, what we have on set and how we're going to do this.
This is an AeroPress. It's a manual or craft brewing equipment. It is portable. You can carry it anywhere you go. So it is categorized in, or it is under black coffee or brewed coffee. So you're going to brew coffee.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so we have our coffee here. We also have a cup with, you know, different white things inside. You know, they kind of look like, you know, the small pieces of bread we use in the cup. So just tell us, what do we have here? Why is it white? Can't we get another color like pink or something like that?
These are filter papers, actually. We use them to filter our coffee. Reason being, everything is manual, so we need a filter inside there. So this is our filter paper. This is our coffee. This is the AeroPress. This is where the filter paper actually goes. And then our weighing scale right there.
It's amazing that every barista who comes has to weigh their coffee.
Yeah, you need these things. You don't just have
there's
to
always that average of water to coffee.
Yes.
You have to really
exactly.
Okay, so we have our AeroPress here. You know, we have our filters. And we're just waiting for our water to get ready so we can go with this. We also have this, you know, this looks like a small ping pong.
This is a spoon.
Instrument,
This is a spoon. This one we use it to stir our coffee. It's the barista word is actually bloom. Bloom, not stir, because everyone knows what stir means.
So you bloom, you don't stir.
we bloom our coffee.
So we stir tea.
Yes, but we bloom coffee.
All right, so as we go on, for those who are home, it's actually easy to make a cup of coffee. Most people think that you have to have some serious kind of equipment to brew a very good cup of coffee. And I know, Amon, there are people who have asked you, you know, how can I buy this instrument? How can I get this? And I guess you always tell them, you know what, it's easy to make a cup of coffee. You know, you can get a French press or you can get an AeroPress and actually, you know, make this cup of coffee, right? So where do we go next? We have everything set up. I have mine here. I still have no idea where I'm going with this, but let's see how that goes. So what is the capacity of this? Is there a specific capacity, and are there different spoons with different capacities?
Not really, actually, because that's why we need the weighing scale. I think the main purpose is making you smart and you work smart to scoop, not just pouring the whole thing.
True. Right. So here we are.
So you can use any spoon, actually. It's not specifically supposed to be.
But this one looks cool. I mean,
it
looks more professional.
It's professional. It's the barista spoon, actually.
All right, so as we wait for our water to boil so we can brew this coffee, there are very few ladies that are basically involved in the coffee business, okay? It's not something that you hear ladies saying, I'm a barista, okay? It's more of a male-dominated kind of industry. So coming from your perspective, okay, how can we get more ladies into the coffee business? They don't have to only be a barista, they don't have to be a cupper. You can even go down into growing coffee, you know? How do we make it nice? How do we make it cool? How do we make it interesting for ladies to, you know, get into the coffee business?
I think that takes us back to, you know, the schools where we go for this, you know, where we go for the whole courses and all that. We have a challenge that we have very few schools here in Uganda. So a lot of people are not really that informed. And of course, ladies, I don't know why they are not confident about this industry. Everyone says coffee is for men, coffee is for men, but no, it's not. So I think they are not informed. I think it all goes back to being informed about the industry, which actually we are trying to do. Me personally, I'm trying to do that, yes. So we have to also show them that there are very good things in the industry. You can achieve a lot in the industry. Like I talked about the competitions earlier. We go for competitions, for these competitions and all that. People think we are just in this industry to make money, but we are in it to win, to win. Yes, so they have to be confident and informed, I think.
Okay, so Amon, to you, how do we get more women involved? You know, as we get ready to basically brew a cup of coffee and come to the end of the show, how do we get more women involved in the coffee business?
I think it's just a matter of demystifying the myths that are around coffee with women. You know, there are a lot of myths that come along with that coffee dries up women, coffee makes you lose sleep. You know, I think we just need to demystify that, and we shall have more women come on board.
Interesting. So if you're a lady out there, don't be scared to be involved in the coffee business. It's like being a chef. We have very many men who are chefs. You'd think women would actually be the chefs in these big places, but they're men. Okay, so I want to see a point whereby we actually have more female baristas than the males. Okay, so let's get into brewing our coffee right now. I think our water is ready. As we're coming towards the end of the show, but before we get there, let's show you guys how to brew a good cup of coffee by the coffee goddess.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to start by preheating my filter paper. I do this because I don't want my coffee to have that pepper smell in it. So I have to first preheat my filter paper. And then I have my weighing scale here. I need my coffee. So I'm going to be using a ratio of 13 grams of coffee with 200 mLs of water.
So do you also like make your own coffee and grind it, or you just depend on getting coffee from different
I really do make my own coffee. I roast my own coffee. Actually, I'm trying to study how to be a good roaster. I do that at home sometimes.
So there are different parts of basically the coffee industry. I know some people only hear that, you know, being a barista, you know, but you can be a kappa, you know, you can be someone who actually does the growing of coffee. But I believe that there are also other parts of the coffee business that I've not looked into. Okay, for example, like Amon, you said, you can be an influencer. Okay, you don't have to be directly involved with the coffee business, but you can actually be an, you know, you can be an influencer. You can be an investor also in the coffee business, because I believe that there are all those other options. Okay, and we shouldn't only look at one side. So it would be a really nice thing to see you guys in future investing in the coffee business. Okay, being big baristas and just going back there and basically giving back. You know, investing and taking the coffee business to the place where it should be. Okay, so yeah, back to our brewing. We're basically poured, I don't know how many ounces of coffee.
I've used 13 grams of coffee. Yes. Right? And then after you pour your coffee into the AeroPress, you have to tare, because you have to measure the water, which is 200 ml that we are going to use. So as you do this, as you start pouring over, you have to turn on the timer.
Okay.
Yes.
So for how much time do I have to do that?
You have to pour the water for like 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Yes. So you pour your water onto the coffee grounds as you look down to your weighing scale, because you don't want to mess up the measurements and all that.
I like the consistency with all the baristas. When they come, you know, you have to pour the water in a swirling motion. You just don't pour it.
So I'm going to bloom
you know, anyhow,
a little bit for like 10 seconds.
All right. So for those who didn't know, this is the blooming part of it. We don't stir like we start. We bloom the coffee. So what else does this blooming of the coffee do?
It mixes well the coffee, because it's brewing. We are brewing, so you have to mix it well, and of course to let that carbon dioxide out of your coffee.
So you degas the coffee.
Yes, you degas the coffee.
Okay. All right, as we honestly wait for our good cup of coffee, no pressure. You know.
Yeah.
I know we kind of put some pressure on you, but no pressure really. Yeah.
So I'm done with my 200 ml. So I have to cover my coffee for the aroma not to escape.
Okay.
So I give it like 1 minute.
Alright.
So it's already 1 minute and 21 seconds.
Okay.
So I'm going to need my cup. Thank you. You swirl it a little bit. You can see the reaction.
That's coming up.
Yes. And then you get your cup. Put it right. 1, 2, 3.
And then flip.
Yeah. And then you plunge.
Yeah, so I think that part, you have to do a couple of push-ups.
Yeah.
Just to
Yes.
basically get yourself strong enough to do that. So for those of you at home and are wondering, okay, what kind of coffee are we doing? This is basically an AeroPress. I believe that you can get this in any of our supermarkets in Uganda. Okay, you don't have to really go out and try and get a big machine. You can get something simple like this, an AeroPress or a French press, that will basically help you make a good cup of coffee, especially in the morning. You know, when you wake up in the morning and you want to run to work and you want a good cup of coffee, you can always depend on this. Okay, I believe that a good cup of coffee in the morning will start your day right. Okay, so I think we're done with brewing our first cup of coffee. I think the thing about the AeroPress is that you can only make 1 cup of coffee at a time.
Yes, you can only make 1 cup.
Yeah, so this is mainly for single people.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, for strong coffee takers.
Yeah, this is strong.
because
So this
it
makes
really
a
makes
stronger coffee.
Yes, stronger coffee.
Okay, so we've come towards the end of our show, and thank you very much for basically showing us how we can, make an AeroPress. We have had people doing French presses. We haven't yet had someone doing a cappuccino here or a latte. I believe that somewhere down the road we'll have you come here, or we'll come and actually visit you.
That
at your coffee shop, and you can show us how to do these different things. But before we go, Amon, we're talking about how to get women, basically, and different ladies into the coffee business. Okay, so how, as a barista, okay, would you look into that camera and just encourage someone who's out there? Especially yesterday, the S6 results came out, and there is that uncertainty of a college is going to open, a university is going to open, so we need options. Okay, and I believe that getting into the coffee business is an option right now. Okay, so Amon, I just want you to look there. I know there's a lady who's a bit confused. Should I get into it? Should I not get into it? Do I have the money for it? Just look to the camera and tell them why they should get involved in the coffee business.
Well, Emma, I think the whole process has to be started by our government. I know most cases we don't like to bring the government's or the government side into our own decisions, but it's so crucial because we follow their guidelines and policies. So at this time, we need to realize that there's need to be change. For example, can we have a certain way that we can get a break of people come out and go get some skills, because people are sitting at home, senior 6, senior 4, P7, they're all now at home. At least now they would have used this time to get hands-on skills. By the time they go back to school, at least they have a skill, so that if in case something fails out there, they return back to this skill. So to a senior 4 vacist, senior 6, please go out there and get a skill. It doesn't necessarily need to be coffee, but any skill that you can do besides class or school. Yes.
Thank you, Amon. So Swabra, thank you very much for being on the show with us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a very good pleasure, and I believe that it's not the last time.
Yes.
We want to host actually one of your students, okay? Because it's always good to get something from the student's perspective. Maybe you're a hash teacher and we don't know about it.
Speaking about our students, I have Sherry Awori. She's her student, and she was so happy to know that she's going to be hosted on the coffee break.
Interesting. So your students actually out there. So
yes,
we'll host one of your students, and we just want to know what kind of person you are from their perspective. So before we go, I just also want you to look into the camera. Just give us your parting words, to the ladies out there, and also to the baristas, to the coffee community and the industry. What would be your last words for them?
To my fellow baristas, actually, I want to thank them a lot because they are pushing the industry out there. At least now we are recognized as baristas, so I thank them for that. And keep your social media handles active. Keep them active. Keep them active. That's what I can tell you.
Well, We've come towards the end of our show. We just want to thank the coffee goddess, Sobra Banks. That's a new name for her, basically. And also the coffee messiah, Amon Mukisa. And from me, the coffee human, Ateng Emmanuel. Thank you for taking time to be with us here, brewing a good cup of coffee. I know sometimes you guys always wonder, okay, how does their coffee taste? The cups of coffee we brew here, you can always get down to different coffee shops. You can visit Amon, you can visit Sobra Banks at her coffee shop and just get to taste, what kind of coffee they make. But apart from that, do always catch the coffee break, bringing you the best about coffee, teaching you different elements, always on House of Talent Television. This has been the Coffee Break, and my name is Ateng Emmanuel.
who speaks his mind out, is naturally a person who knows what he's doing, is naturally a person who cracks jokes. In fact, a friend of mine said he should just, every time he does a skit, he should just give him a moment and just share. He wants to pay for it. Richard, welcome to Creative Industry Talk. How are you this morning?
I'm very fine. You just reminded me. I've lost money.
Yes, you've lost money.
I've not shared with him.
Yes, he said, whenever you do a skit, just send me and send the invoice immediately. Yeah. And I said, wow, I wish I would have a talent and gift like Richard, where I don't have to work very hard and the money just finds me.
Boss, we sweat.
I know. But welcome to the program, Richard. We want to say thank you very much. And how have you been?
I've been okay.
Yeah.
I have constantly been COVID negative.
Okay.
Yeah. I assume.
That's a very good one. Yes.
I've not tested in a long time.
Yes.
But we're okay. A lot has changed.
Yeah.
We have tried to change with the change.
Yes.
Yes. And along the way, you discover here, you lose here. But we stay above the water.
Yes, yes. I just want to take you straight to Richard to the first question we always ask on the Creative Industry Talk. Who is Richard Tuwanje if I am looking for you? Are you Ugandan? If yes, what are the values define you as Ugandan? Yes, that question is usually a question that gets so many people punching on the streets of Kampala and across the world. If you ask them a question, who are you? Some people assume that everyone knows them. And yes, we see you on TV every other day. Yes, we see you all across Africa. But who is Richard in a nutshell?
That is a very difficult question. Because personally, I believe some people's values change along the way. You know, life is a game of, you know, discovery and rediscovery of self. But personally, I believe, plainly put, Richard Tuwanje is a Ugandan who is a multifaceted entertainer. Who has his hands in not just one thing, actor, comedian. I don't know whether I should call myself a singer. I think I'm safe calling myself a singer, not a musician. We're
going to sample that song already.
So I do a bit of music. I'm a producer on a wider scale because most of the art I do I also produce. Some with a team, some alone. And as a human being, I stand for good for all.
Wow, that right there is quite a deep statement. I stand for good for all. I would like to take this moment, first of all, to welcome everyone to the Creative Industry Talk from all across the world. Thank you very much, all our brothers and sisters in the United States of America. I hope you did not jump on that plane and you're part of the 600 people from Afghanistan, you know. And of course, to all the creative people all across the world, we want to say thank you very much and welcome to the space for the creative right here in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda, going to the rest of the world. Richard, welcome to the show. And now that we know you, and now that we understand who you are, just away from seeing you on TV, our topic on the Creative Industry Talk today is about creativity for business success in Uganda. Creativity for business success in Uganda. When we posted this yesterday, a lot of people wrote back and they were asking, creativity for business success in Uganda? They don't even understand what creativity is. Now you are putting the mix of success in it. And I mean, how are we going to do it? So I said, well, we will have to have a discussion about this. And of course, we're going to be joined by Faizo Chiwewa. We were supposed to be joined by, Jeremy Biemanzi from Nomad Advertising. But unfortunately, Jeremy has got an emergency that needs to attend to. He will be joining us next week. And of course, we want to take a moment to welcome Faizo Chiwewa all the way in the outside countries. How are you doing in the cold?
Thank you so much, Eddie. I am okay. I just arrived like 5 minutes ago in Antwerp. It's I would say the capital of the Flanders in Belgium. So it's where I am, and I had to find my way to get to the show. So I'm very excited to join you guys.
Very much, Faizo. Thank you very much, Faizo, first of all, for joining us. I hope you have had a very good ride on the train. In Uganda here, when we talk about the train, we only remember in the 60s. I don't know whether Richard... Our train hasn't yet been...
I know nothing about trains in Uganda. I just read. What I see down there below Ginger Road, I think those are just carriers, you know.
Wow.
Train has.
And when my uncle tells me the trains were good, so seeing Faizo ride on the train in Europe is quite an amazing stuff. But gentlemen, welcome to the show. So today we want to just ride straight to this, discussion. I want to give you a context, Richard. There is artistic creativity. And there is a more general kind of creativity that we see in people that could also be called the ingenuity, innovation, the lateral thinking outside the box. We've heard people talk about this very much, or simply the problem solver. And we are going to mix the two together to basically find what is best for us in our discussion today. We're talking about creativity for business in Uganda and the success. But the context here is that creativity in business is a nifty way of thinking that always inspires people, challenges people, and also help people to find innovative solutions that create opportunities. that we always use in our day-to-day life, okay? And of course, opportunities out of problems are key, and we're talking about the pandemic situation right now. The COVID-19 has brought, you know, a challenge in the industry. But how are we turning these opportunities and challenges to actually create opportunity to solve the problems that we have or we had already before? It is also the reason some individuals, of course, and companies attract our attention to either goods and services or to products that we need. Yes, it comes from the creative mind. The ideas, the amazing ideas, at sometimes seems very, you know, far-fetched, and other times is merely the follow beaten, and some people really just go through with whatever the flow is. But today on the show, I want to take you straight to this background, and I want to start with you, Richard, right here in the studio. First of all, is creativity an important skill to have?
It is a very important skill to have. Unfortunately, it is not for all. And I think, you know, the nature's laws, I think, dictated like that, because I mean, if all of us were creative, it would be so hard to cope with the world. I mean, you're trying to catch on this and something new has come. But that is where we are going. It is very important to be creative, because it helps you stand out in whatever sector. I believe it. You know, when you come, most of us are followers before we get creative. There's always a trend, whether in banking, the arts, the sports. There's always a trend, and that trend, at whatever given time in history or in the future, it will have been brought about by a few creative minds. So, like you said, it's the creative ones who create even opportunities, not for just themselves, but for others. And without just limiting it to art, it is so important that if a particular sector is so clogged with competition, chances are the one who is going to slide off the conventions will either stand out or it's not a win all the time. Because you can create your way to your failure.
That's true. Absolutely.
So it is important to be creative, but it's also important to create with high regard of the audience. That you're creating for. Most cases, creative people are also very egoistic. So when the idea comes and he likes it, you're not going to try and tone his idea down.
This is my idea.
To match the targeted audience. He wants to run it the way he has thought about it. So creativity is very important, but also most important is, who are you creating for?
Wow. Faizo Chiwewa, all the way in outside countries, you've heard from Richard. Richard is saying that it is important that the creativity is important skill for a person to have. Do you agree with Richard, Faizo? And also on that background, Faizo, how do we, you know, profit from the creativity in business, if at all it is important as a skill?
Thank you so much. First of all, to compliment Richard for how he looks. I mean, you can see that creativity has made on some weight. Despite all of us who are losing weight during this COVID, Richard is gaining weight, which is good to see that a creative man. Excitingly, I would say. I totally agree with his notion on yes, creativity is necessary. It's not for him, but it's also something that we need nurture in everyone. That's why we encourage our children at a young age to really try to practice different things, test different experiences, so that they could define themselves in the future, whatever course they take in life. Be not just redundant or dependent on what they're told to do or what they must do, but also be supportive of our community. And I'm always fascinated creatives really contribute to changes that we see in societies. And you can see in Europe, you find a lot of things done, but not necessarily provided by authorities, governments, but by individuals who find hardships in terms of their day-to-day life, and they think about solutions that go through these hardships. And those solutions then eventually become public necessities or public goods that everyone now needs to use. For example, you can, if you walk around, or if you move around, like just what you talked about at the beginning, the necessity of having a train. I woke up in Holland this morning at 6:40, and by 10 I'm in Belgium, and I'm having a conversation here. So that thought of creativity to say, you can call it also innovation, to make people's lives easier is really what our country would need more of this kind of input in our day-to-day life. Yeah.
Richard, you've had the man woke up in Finland.
Why was that meant to make me feel guilty? Because I'm the reason this show started late. Just from Muyenga to Bokoto.
Yes, he has juggled so much traffic and a lot of things have happened. But you see, Richard, that's why we're saying if there's a creative way of thinking about stuff, would be able to save and there'll be a lot more success. And that really resonate with our topic today. Richard, what jobs are in the creative industry? We're starting to build these things about our discussion today. What jobs do you think are available? You're already earning out of it.
The creative industry.
Yes.
First, it is so wide. Yeah. People look at the creative industry. When you say creative industry, they think about the creative performance.
Yes.
Yeah. But you see, those aside, we have people behind the scenes, the producers, the guys who do the technical work, and then the creative industry does not just carry the artistically creative or the performing artists. We are living in a time where, life has changed. The phone is now a performing space.
Yeah.
The internet is a performing space. So, you're holding your phone and you have a multitude of stages here. You're free to choose. The people who create all those spaces are also creatives. They are at a very different plane of creativity also. But all creatives are important. Personally, I think to a certain extent we are important in equal measure, because Mr. Eddie Okilah is going to have a platform here that is so different from other platforms. And the reason he shaped it that way is to serve a certain segment of audience, TV viewing content seeking audiences. But Okilah will need the performers on. Okilah will be the producer. The performers will be there. The writers are going to get jobs. That's why sometimes me in Uganda here, the only way we can have as many creatives incorporated into the creative industry is for those who can create to focus on churning out the art. The more art you put out, the more people you pull into the value-adding chain, of the final products.
Wow.
That I have experienced along the way when we seek to grow. You create more, and you realize along the way we have, brought in this big number of contributors to the final product.
Wow. Well, Richard and Faisal, this is a very interesting part of the show. The jobs that the creative industry have. I want to dive to Faisal in Belgium. Faisal, you've heard from Richard. What jobs do you think we have available in the creative industry?
I think, as Richard said at the beginning, the creative industry is really huge. When we start mentioning the sectors within, I would call them, some are sectors because they're informal, others are industries because they're formal. But there are also those formal and informal industries within the creative industry, or the creative arts, or the creative behavior, I would say. But the kind of jobs, let's start with, you know what we are doing. So we are in the arts. I'm a programmer, and that whole line of business you are familiar with. Richard is in the in theater and comedy, and you know, that chain of that chain of business is very familiar to us. We know what they are doing, and I think maybe what is different in this